Hey Josh, this is Jackie, and I'm just gonna do a little tutorial for you on your question regarding Palestine. Um, I'm trying to guess what you mean about neutral sources. I can understand where a lot of information may lie. I wasn't sure if you're looking at maybe single state versus two-state option. That's usually an approach that people take when they're looking at this issue. But I'll point you in the direction of some of our resources and kind of see if hopefully they'll match up what you're looking for. So going down to our library databases, I'm assuming you got your library card, so if you are off campus, you can access these. We're going to go back to our top library databases. Really quick, I want to show you, this is just super basic information, but we do have information on country profiles. That's just to the right there, and you would just select the country that you want to view. That might give you some of the basic information that you might want to end up citing. It might not get into the issues themselves, but it might actually address those. And I'm not seeing Palestine, so that's interesting. Maybe that's the problem, right? I'll probably have to look up Israel to see what's going on. That's interesting. They don't even have a designation. The World Factbook here, this is actually, as you can see, produced by the CIA, so it's an exceptional resource. So you might want to take a look at this for some basic information. I think that point alone, that is not in the CIA, is something to write about in your paper on its own. So that's one quick source. I'm just going to go back really quickly. Oh, I'm actually going to go back here to top library databases. So we were just here under country profiles. I'm going to scroll back up. I'm assuming you already looked at opposing viewpoints, so I'm not going to cover that one. I can send you a link to a tutorial that covers this database, but I'm not going to bother with that. I'm kind of assuming you're off campus, so I'm not going to go through CQ Researcher either, but what you'll see in this email back to you is I did include 2 reports from CQ Researcher. The first is fairly recent. It is about Israel, Palestine, and the second one is specifically on Palestinians. The second one, just on the Palestinians, might give some good background. It is a little bit older though, so just keep that in mind. So where we're going to go now actually is to some of our more advanced databases. These tend to be, I guess in general, more scholarly, more academic, and often when folks, I'm not sure which class you're in, but folks often in some classes, they get beyond just having an argument that opposing viewpoints is a good database for if people want to explore ideas more, they want to think about what they might want to research. And that's where going through a keyword exercise or a mind map, writing that out for yourself might be really helpful. Reading some newspaper articles, noting some of what those keywords are coming up in those articles there, and then typing them into your search here. But I'm going to go ahead and start super basic since I'm not sure what you mean by neutral issues. I don't know if you mean single state, dual state, or I'm just going to go ahead and type in Palestine and see what comes up. You can see it comes up with some suggested topics. So if you're really interested in, conflict, refugee status, officials, prisoners, can certainly do that. I'm just going to type in Palestine. I normally wouldn't do this basic search, but I just want to see what's there. If you type in Palestine and you already have some other attributes you want to look at, you can go ahead and add those. So, Palestine and two-state solution, that sort of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a search here, just a basic search. And I like doing a basic search for a couple of reasons. One, it just gives me this huge overview. Right now what's coming up as the preferred format is academic journals. Academic journals are scholarly, they're usually by professors, researchers. These should be your best bet for which should be a more neutral approach, honestly. I mean, part of the reason that they're considered academic is they should be based on, sound methodologies. They should be based on, well thought out arguments or research, as opposed to magazines. They don't necessarily do that. I mean, their job in many ways, they cover some of that and they try to do it neutrally, but in many ways magazines they're more geared towards getting people to buy them, so there's a different market there. And you can see there's also books and news and such. So I like just scrolling down. Again, we have a ton to choose from. If you want, you can limit your date range to, if you want to limit to just the past week, month, or year, you can certainly do that. If you want to limit to the past couple years, if you just click on custom date range, you can enter in your time frame. But I'm just going to scroll down a little bit more. Some of these articles look really interesting. Borders and boundaries. It might be interesting. The little bit summary here is, in the context of conflict narratives, boundaries, borders, and borderlands serve as facilitators or inhibitors of peace. So actually looking at separation and these boundaries as not effective in promoting peace, if that's what you're looking for as far as thinking of Palestine in a neutral way. This one is actually a little bit, it does look a little bit more biased. I mean, someone's making a very strong claim, but looks like maybe from a legal point of view that there's some human rights violations going on. So in this case against Palestinians, so it's not a pro-Israel argument. So we'll get back to one of these. I just want to point out also on the other side of the screen here is specific subject headings. If you wanted to focus specifically on the Arab-Israeli conflict, you can certainly do that. The United States and their foreign relations certainly can do that. You can see Palestinian Arabs, human rights, all these things you can narrow down if you wanted to specifically. Is something else that you have the option to do. Mine set up. And then you can also look at, maybe there's a journal you want to read. Maybe you want to read the Journal of Middle East Policy. That can be helpful as well. So let's just say you want this article. It's the same company owns this database as owns Opposing Viewpoint. So it's fairly similar. You can listen to these. They do tend to be longer, so you could download an entire PDF if you wanted to. But the same tools exist. If you need help citing, it's right there, and there's your MLA. Just a reminder to take out the URL. So you would take out all of this right there. In the case of an article you get from a library database. Again, you can email, print, all of that. And they tend to be quite good. They're a little bit lengthy, but if this is kind of what you're thinking of, it can be very helpful to browse through for your topic. I'm going to go back a couple, and the other thing I want to show you on the right-hand side of the screen is this topic finder. So as I mentioned, I just put in Palestine, which is kind of a crazy search, right? That's one word. But topic finder can kind of help you think through that. You can redo your search right here if you want to, but this is kind of fun because you can focus in on, say you wanted to focus on the Oslo peace process in Palestine. Well, great. If I click there, actually it's probably already there, I can see there's 9 articles that match Palestine and the peace process. And this might be very neutral, a political security analysis of the failed Oslo process. Hopefully it's a good analysis. The challenge of peace and this rivalry. Again, the article link is just right here. Perils of Pax Americana, what went wrong, so collapses of the peace process. The other thing that you can do here is look at specific things and change your search. So if you're really particularly interested in, I don't know, the United Nations you mentioned. Let me go ahead and click there. Same thing, it should narrow our search down. There's 6, and different reforms, uprising, the plight of Palestinian refugees. All of those might be kind of what you have in mind. And again, you can always change your search here. If you say, no, Jackie, what I'm really interested in is Palestine and this, you can go ahead and do your search, and it can keep you here in the topic wheel. So that's one database to use. Going back to our library homepage, again, library databases, top library databases. We were just looking at Academic OneFile. We're now going to look really quickly at Academic Search Premier. And actually with Academic Search Premier, that's a good one. I'm going to click Choose Databases. The reason I'm doing that is actually we have a ton of different databases that we have access to through this particular resource called EBSCO. We have as specific as a psychology collection, we have health collections, business, but Academic Search Complete is the most broad-based one. So I'm going to make sure we look through that one as well. And we can just go ahead and type in Palestine. Again, it starts populating again what you might be interested in. The Palestine and Israel conflict, you might the history of it, you might be very interested in that. You know, if we're looking at peace, maybe we'll just go ahead and do something like that. And I'll go ahead and hit search. And so there it goes. Okay, so you know, a couple things that I could have done that I didn't do right away is to limit to full text. The reason I like to limit to full text is, like, for this article right here, for example, this looks really good. It looks like we would have to request this article through interlibrary loan, which you can certainly do, but interlibrary loan means is that we would, we don't own it here, but we would request, it's free, we'd request it from another college in the country that has it, and they usually scan it, email it to us, and then we email it to you. That takes about a week. So just to bear in mind, if you have time, I would, you know, and if you see an article that you want to request through ILL, definitely do it. It's a great service. But if you don't want to do that, you can limit right away to articles that are just full text, which means they're going to be here, right now in this database. Interesting. So looking at, this was using peace as our search term. There's some articles coming up that might match that. Again, we can also go forward in time. This goes all the way back to 1943. You know, you might decide you want to limit to the last 5 or so years, you know, depending on what you would like to do. And the other thing is you could limit, again, to those academic journals if you wanted to, or magazines. I also like pointing out these subject terms here. If you wanted to focus specifically on the Arab-Israeli conflict, looks like 1993 and beyond, and peace, you could limit that way. And if you wanted to look specifically at foreign relations in Palestine, you could click there, and that would focus you in. So anyway, but let's just pretend you want this one, just to show you how to access these, help you decipher this. So this is from a magazine or a journal called the Palestine Israel Journal of Politics, Economics, and Culture. Again, hopefully neutral by scholars. It looks like the author is this fellow named Ron Cronish, and he is a senior advisor for the Interreligious Coordinating Council in Israel. There's a bit of a summary. I always recommend reading the summary because that gives you an idea. Do you want to spend more time looking at this or not? A couple other things, I can see the article is 7 pages long. I think that's a pretty good read. So with this article, to actually get it, click on PDF over here. And when you are there, you get the full article. It is going to be in PDF here. So again, you can print, you can download all the usual things. You can also email it to yourself. And just like Academic One File, if we click here, that helps you cite. We just have to go in order here down to MLA, and there it is. So when you're ready to copy and paste into your paper, there it is for you. It's kind of nice. So I hope that makes sense. You know, without better a conversation about what you're looking for, I'm hoping playing with your keywords and playing with those ideas helps with those. But really, the CIA World Factbook for basic information, and then Academic One File and the EBSCO database, they're great for this particular topic. So anyway, please let me know if you need any more help, and I hope you find this useful. Take care. Happy researching.